Jackson. Happy Sunday. Welcome to LCJ Live. It's Sunday, December 14, 2025. Thanks for being here. I'm all decked out in SpongeBob because the movie is out this weekend. The SpongeBob movie, Search for SquarePants. The fourth theatrical movie. Yes, the third movie didn't really get a huge theatrical play, but there have been the other spin-offs that have gone to Netflix and Paramount Plus and other platforms. But the fourth major SpongeBob movie comes out this weekend coming up. So does Avatar. So does that Sydney Sweeney, Amanda Seyfried collab. So does David, that Timothy Chalamet movie, Marty Supreme, and Bradley Cooper's new movie with Will Arnett. They're all coming out this weekend. But we've got to take a look at this past weekend's box office first, which is kind of ugly for one new movie in particular, Ella McCay, which I screened a couple weeks ago. Oh, it is not a good film. It is terrible. My prediction was $3 million. It only made $2.1 million. Oh my gosh, this is a disaster for Disney, 20th century. Yes, Avatar opens in a few days. They'll make a lot of money. But wow, $2.1 million looks like 7th place for Ella McCay. A movie that is just, it has no flow. It has no coherent script. It goes in just these bizarre, baffling directions and isn't funny. Everybody overacts. So much dialogue. All the performances, nothing there. It's wacky, it's weird, it just doesn't do anything legitimately sufficient. That's Ella McCay. And it only made $2.1 million this weekend. Ooh. Why did they put that screaming scene in the trailer months and months ago that would turn so many people away? And that's really towards the end of the movie. Wow. Ella McCay, that is bad. $2.1 million. Kelly is kind of awkward. Not a fan of the new style of animation of SpongeBob. Well, we'll see what happens. I've heard good things, funny things about this new SpongeBob movie. There have been all kinds of different animation styles over the different SpongeBob movies over the years. You have the hand-drawn. You had the second movie, which they transformed into superheroes in CG in the second half, which was kind of mind-blowing at the time. It was like their version of Enchanted almost, going from animation to live action. SpongeBob going from hand-drawn to CG. Then we had the third movie, which was a little different, full CG. And now this as well, which is going to use some other techniques and interesting with kind of the slapstick humor, it looks like. And Mark Hamill joining the voice cast. So SpongeBob out this weekend. What do you think went wrong with Ella? It's just a bad film. And they delayed it a couple times. James L. Brooks hasn't made a movie in 15 years. I didn't see How Do You Know, but I know people who saw it and didn't love it and had no interest in seeing this. So, yeah. Okay. Ella McCay. Yeah, it's not going to do well, Sam. It's not. Zootopia did cross the $1 billion mark, Fanimator. And yes, Zootopia 2, number one with $26.3 million this weekend. It is at $259 million domestically. We're still, if my math is correct, $82 million behind what the first one did, $341. But over $1 billion worldwide for Zootopia 2. So we'll see what happens. I have not heard the new Ice Spice SpongeBob song. I did listen to the new Miley Cyrus Avatar song the other day in case I decide after 3 hours and 10 minutes I'm done with Avatar and I get up and leave. I listened to it the other day. I didn't love the new Miley Cyrus song. Not a lot there. She talked about not having a lot of time to make it. Not horrible, but not great. Let's see. Yeah, so Zootopia 2 is number one. 26.3 million, back on top. We had Five Nights at Freddy's 2 at number one last weekend. It dropped to second this weekend, 19.5 million. It's at 95.5, so it will cross 100 million for Universal and Blumhouse. They're happy about that. The first one did 137.3, but a lot of people going to Avatar this weekend, and The Housemaid. It could drop down to about 6-7 million next weekend, but do a little more over the holidays. It could make a run at 115, 120, get pretty close to that 137. We'll see, unless it has a huge drop this coming weekend. Wicked for Good, speaking of huge drops, down to 8.6 million this weekend. It is only at 312.1 million. The first one did 473, so we are $160 million behind what the first one did. Whoa! It's because it's not as good and not as rewatchable. That's what's happening. Wow. Okay. Oh, thank you. I appreciate the comments on the shirt. Yes, I've had the shirt for a long time, and then I added a little holiday flair today because it'll be the Christmas show next week for LCJ Live, and then the end of the year show. My gosh, we're almost at the end of 2025, so I had to do the SpongeBob today. So it's actually a short sleeve shirt, and then added some little holiday flair along with these classic pezzes, these classic SpongeBob and Pals pezzes. Okay, number 4 is probably Durandar, which we don't have the money on officially, but probably around 3.5 million, which is more than what it did last weekend. It did 2 million last weekend, so a huge increase for this film, which is up to almost $8 million and probably 4th place this weekend. Number 5 is Now You See Me, Now You Don't, added 2.4 million. It's at 59.3. It is the biggest Lionsgate movie of the year, and it passes Ballerina to do that, but will The Housemaid make more than $62 million to beat Now You See Me and become the biggest film of the year? We will have to see. Number 6 is Jujutsu Kaisen Execution, which dropped big, but 2.1 million. It's at 14.5. Also 2.1 million, as I mentioned off the top, for Ellen McCay. Wow. Wow. A lot of people thought this should go to streaming. I mean, at least it got a theatrical play, but it's not a good film. Number 8 is probably The Shining? No, that's 10th. What the heck is 8th? Oh, The Grinch. Oh, The Grinch. I was scared of when I was young, of Jim Carrey as The Grinch. 25th anniversary for The Grinch did 1.9 million this weekend. Number 9 is Eternity, which added 1.8 million. It's at 13 million. It is now the 5th biggest A24 film of the year. It passes Death of a Unicorn to achieve that. But Marty Supreme is going to make more than $13 million, I believe. So Eternity will not stay on this top 5 list for long. And number 10, we believe, is The Shining in IMAX with 1.6 million. Right behind it, Hamnet added $1.5 million. It is up to $7 million. Kill Bill went out of the top 10, only 810,000 this weekend. It's at $5.5 million. And Silent Night, Deadly Night only opened to $1.1 million. Lots of comments coming in. I have seen Marty Supreme. I have seen Is This Thing On? I have seen David. We'll talk about those here in just a second, coming up on LCJ Live Award season as well. We've got the Golden Globe nominations are out, Critics' Choice are out, Spirit Awards are out. Coming in January, we've got the Actor Awards, formerly known as the SAG Awards nominations, also the Annie Award nominations, the BAFTA nominations, and of course, Jan 22 is Oscar nomination day. SpongeBob was not screened for voters of Critics' Choice in advance. I knew that going in. So that I knew was not going to be eligible because not many people saw it and they did not provide it in advance. There were some screenings around the country yesterday. Golden Globe wise, I don't know if they screened it. It is qualified for the Oscars. So could SpongeBob sneak in and get a first ever franchise Oscar nomination for animated feature? We will have to see. I mean, you look at these nominees so far, and I think Zootopia 2 and K-pop are certainly in. I think Arco is probably in. And then the rest are sort of wild cards, like Demon Slayer and a few of the other animated films. So we'll see what the category brings. In Your Dreams could be in the mix, but maybe SpongeBob. It depends on the box office and the impact. I also think David, which is qualified for the Oscars as well, is going to have a huge impact this weekend coming up. And Angel Studios with this, they just announced that they're getting the Andy Serkis Animal Farm movie for May 1st. So between King of Kings, David, and now Animal Farm, Angel is really getting into animation. And King of Kings made 60 million. I think David can make more. And it'll start this weekend in an animation showdown similar to what we had last year with Sonic and Mufasa. Sonic had the bigger opening weekend, but Mufasa had the bigger total. And so it'll be pretty interesting to see what happens with these movies this weekend. Of course, there's Avatar, Fire and Ash, and we're just 3 years out from the last one, which was 13 years after the first one. There was anticipation, I think, for the last one because it had been 13 years. But you got to remember, 3 years ago, there was that huge snowstorm on the East Coast that kept a lot of people away from the movie theaters opening weekend. Puss in Boots didn't make a lot of money. Avatar didn't make as much as people thought out of the gate. And in the second weekend, it built and built over the next 5-6 weeks. So we're going to see what happens. I think the theaters are going to do really well with Avatar. It's got to make over 100 million this weekend. Also, David and SpongeBob, they got to do very well. But um, will kids wait until maybe after Christmas, closer to New Year's, a few full weekends off of school? Maybe it won't be right away, or maybe it will. But I think David and SpongeBob will do very well opposite Avatar. And then there's The Housemaid, Sydney Sweeney, Amanda Seyfried. This is a movie I think that will play well for 2-3 weeks through New Year's. Could be a big New Year's movie with couples, and I think it'll do all right. So you've got theaters. Theaters are in good shape now for the next 3-4 weeks with and beyond with Avatar. But for these movies, also Marty Supreme, which opens in limited release on Friday, a film I like parts of and don't like parts of. It gets goofy and silly and wacky. But Chalamet's good and Kevin O'Leary's good. Gwyneth Paltrow, not much to that role. It's 2.5 hours. For a Christmas Day movie, I prefer Song Sung Blue. I love Song Sung Blue. Hugh Jackman's outstanding. Kate Hudson is terrific. Ella Anderson is fantastic. The emotion is there. It's a ride. I highly recommend Song Sung Blue. That opens Christmas Day. I recommend that over Marty Supreme. But Marty Supreme comes out limited. Also limited this weekend is This Thing On, which is Bradley Cooper's new film with Will Arnett, which I saw back in October, almost 2 months ago. Not a fan. Not a fan of this movie. Not funny, but also not genuinely dramatic. Laura Dern, not a great performance from her. Will Arnett's all right, and the stand-up comedy atmosphere is good, but that's the only thing Bradley Cooper excels at when it comes to the directorial nature of this film. It is his weakest directorial film by far. Absolutely, Star is Born is first, Maestro is second, this is third. And it's not sharp, it's not intelligent, it's not interesting enough, it's not genuine enough. The second half drags like crazy. The ending is ridiculous if you try to piece it all together. So yeah, is This Thing On? Disappointed by that. It opens in limited release Friday. Out of that versus Marty Supreme, I recommend Marty Supreme. But for Christmas Day, you've got Song Sung Blue, which is just really, really strong. And I'm glad Kate Hudson got a Golden Globe nomination. I thought Hugh should get one as well. Maybe he'll sneak in for a SAG or an Oscar nomination alongside Kate. I think they're both terrific in the film. And we will see how that does in the awards season. Lots of comments coming in. I appreciate them very much. I'm going to scroll through here. Avatar 3, obviously that'll get nominated for visual effects, but Best Picture, supporting actress Sigourney Weaver, we will have to see. Yeah, Avatar opens this week. Yeah, it's going to be big. You know, it's going to be. Is it going to be as big as the others? I think so. I mean, look at the global box office for Zootopia 2. Look at it being over $1 billion. I think Avatar, this new one, can get to close to $2 billion again, just like the others, because the international fascination with these movies, the visuals, the story, I think it's there even more than here in North America. Clearly, the interest overseas bigger for Zootopia 2 than here in North America, even though it's doing all right here in North America. Yeah. Avatar is going to get to $2 billion. Disney will keep it in theaters as long as they possibly can on those premium screens, the 3D, the IMAX, all of that, as long as they possibly can to get Avatar Fire and Ash to $2 billion. Just like the other ones did, way past $2 billion. I think this can. Even though some people aren't going to the movies as much, a lot's changed in 3 years, all of that, I still think, unless the movie is terrible, unless most people think the movie is terrible and have no interest, I think this can get to $2 billion. How quickly, we will see. I guess there's Avengers trailers maybe being attached to the movie, so that'll be interesting. But you've got Avatar Fire and Ash this week. I will probably see it this week, not 100% sure yet. I will be seeing SpongeBob this week, very likely. And I'm compiling my list of the best movies of the year, which you'll get soon, and some more surprises and more fun stuff for the rest of 2025. Will I see The Housemaid? Maybe. Maybe I'll catch up on it. David is good. I recommend David. And I spoke with the directors, Brent Dawes and Phil Cunningham. You want that conversation, go to lcj.podbean.com as well as animationscoop.com. What I like about David is how they treat the material seriously, and it's very sophisticated, and it's good. It's not silly, ridiculous, goofy. It's not. It has musical numbers that are very nice and very theatrical and really an experience. But if you want something sophisticated, you basically have two animation options. You have the craziness of SpongeBob, and you have the sophistication of David. So it's a good one too there for family options for the holidays, and they're both going to do really well alongside Avatar. So theaters are going to be fine. January looks a little quiet, but some of these smaller films will go wide, and Avatar will keep things going, and SpongeBob will keep things going. And we've got January with Charlie the Wonder Dog and Madagascar, both for the middle of January. The re-release of Madagascar after its 20th anniversary in the theaters. And then I think things pick up again a little bit in February, certainly March. February's got Goat, and Hoppers is March, and some of The Bride is March. So things will start picking up again. But for the holidays, a good 7-8 big movies that'll carry over into most of January, into the award season of the actual award shows and beyond. The theaters are going to do fine. They are. So it's all good. It's all good, which is fabulous. Thanks for being here for today's episode of LCJ Live. We're staying positive as we can during the holiday season. And if you need a gift that'll put a smile on someone's face for the holidays, how about my Very Rocky Christmas, my holiday book? It's a great story, wonderful illustrations, a nice gift for families for the holidays. My Very Rocky Christmas. It's available on Amazon. A portion of the proceeds go to the Nature Conservancy. They have a Plant a Billion Trees campaign. We're supporting that, supporting real Christmas trees. My Very Rocky Christmas. Thank you for watching today's episode of LCJ Live. My thoughts on SpongeBob and Avatar as soon as I see them later on this week. You want more? Go to animationscoop.com, lcj.podbean.com, lights-camera-jackson.com. I provide commentary now for WAMC Radio. I got a piece coming soon to them for Marty Supreme and Song Sung Blue. Other commentary, go to WAMC's website, toofast2films.com, and follow me on X at LCJ Reviews, Instagram at LightsCamJackson. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Next time's LCJ Live might be Saturday. It might be Sunday. Not 100% sure yet, but we'll let you know. It could be Saturday. And if it is, and whether it's Saturday or Sunday, we will talk about this box office for Avatar, SpongeBob, David, Housemaid, limited release opens of Marty Supreme, and Is This Thing On? And we will preview the big Christmas Day movies. And I'm forgetting a movie. I know I am. I think. Well, maybe I'm not. But we will preview some of the other Christmas Day releases, some of the other big movies coming out for the end of the year, and it's always a good time for the box office, for the theaters. Timothée Chalamet's third consecutive December with a movie, lots of stuff happening, and lots of big news. And the Oscar shortlist comes out Tuesday for animated shorts, so look for more coverage at animationscoop.com, and it'll be big to see which animated shorts get in. There's some high-profile ones, there's some indie ones. We'll see what gets in on the Oscar shortlist. All right, thank you so much for being here for today's episode of LCJ Live. I am Lights Camera Jackson. Appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.